Thank you. I was just gonna say you look so fresh-faced. Is this
Makeup.
after your do you have makeup
No,
on? It
because
doesn't look like you
I
have an
was
ounce of makeup on.
I was recording for my radio show until about
Uh-huh.
6 o'clock just then. So I breaked for dinner. So I haven't removed the makeup. This is my daily
I
makeup. This is like my
I
5 minutes
see.
a day makeup. Yeah.
Nice. And thank you so much for agreeing to do this with me, though. I know you are still working from home, right? Like you
Yes, I
have your radio
am.
show and everything. So thanks for, still taking the time off to come on the show with me.
No problem. Thanks for inviting me. This is
Of
my first
course.
IG live. Very
I know.
exciting.
I was just gonna tell everybody as well. I feel so honored because I've popped a lot of mommy's cherries.
Hmm.
Because a lot of mommies that I've approached as well, they were telling me that, oh, they've never done IG
Yeah,
Live
I've
or they've
never
never
done
done
it.
a shared IG Live. So this is
Yeah.
so exciting for me as well. So thank you for allowing me to pop your cherry like the other mommies as well. And just because I mentioned earlier, I forgot how long I've known you for. Was it is it a few years or
No, I
do we
think
go
more
way
than
back?
that. Because I
Right?
remember, I think um, I auditioned you for the quickie before
That's
I left,
right.
which was after I
2009.
got, I think it was 2009. Yeah, after I
Yeah,
got
yeah,
married,
yeah.
I left and I auditioned you and you came in,
Yes.
right? So 2009, that's what, 10
Oh
years ago now,
my
May.
gosh. That's crazy. And you know what? I know you mentioned this in your post already that, I call you my TV twin. But
Yeah.
just in case some of you missed it, let us just tell you why. It's because Belle and I share the exact same birth date.
May
Yep,
17th. Of course, Megan
May
is younger,
17th.
but yeah, we're twins in that sense that we share the same birth date. And I think
Yeah.
we share quite a bit of the similar personalities as well, right?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I don't know if you believe in that kind of stuff, but
Hmm.
yeah, I do think that we do kind of share similar traits. People say we sound alike when we host as
Yeah,
well. So I
yeah.
don't know. You guys be the judge right now if we
What do
do
you
we
guys
sound
think?
alike. Yeah, so anyways, okay, how are you coping throughout this MCO period anyways? I mean, aside from the fact that you have to work
Um,
from home.
yeah, weekdays I'm just busy, busy. I start work at 10 and I
Mm-hmm.
break for lunch and then we start at about 2, sometimes 3, depending on the interviews. So it's a full
Yeah.
day for me. I'm at work. I'm at this workspace. This is my workspace now. Nobody
Oh,
can
so
come
that's
in here.
your little
Yeah.
studio.
Yeah, so nobody can come in here and
Uh-huh.
so yeah, it's going by very quickly because I'm still working.
Right.
And with the kids, Danny, my older girl, she's
Mm-hmm.
9, so
Yeah.
she's in online schooling. Like the school is
Mm-hmm.
providing them some online classes. And
Okay.
with my boy Dylan, who's 3, turning 4,
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't have a schedule.
He
He
does
can do
whatever he
whatever he
pleases.
wants at whatever time he wants to.
Nice. So, because you're working every day on a weekday, do you get time to kind of like disconnect on a weekend, or is it still full on with the kids and your schedules and stuff?
To be honest, I think I get more me time when before this MCO. I think a lot of moms would agree as
Mm-hmm.
well. There's no time for just like a quiet time to do whatever I want, especially even
Right.
during weekends, because I don't really take care of them that much on the weekdays, so I don't give them that much quality time in the weekdays. So on
Uh-huh.
the weekends, they're
Mm-hmm.
like on me the whole time. It's like,
Full on.
yeah, so yeah, I try to sneak in a few like K dramas in the before I go to bed at night, but because
Oh,
I'm still working,
K-drama.
yeah, I mean,
What are you
just to get
watching
your.
now?
I just finished Crash Landing onto You, and now I
I
am
love that.
watching Goblin. I went because my sister-in-law,
Oh,
they're both K drama fans, so it's like you have to
right.
watch Goblin. So I'm watching Goblin right now.
Nice. I haven't started because I fear that I will not be able to do this
I
session
know.
once I start.
I
I'm like,
finished.
sorry guys, no more mommy time. My me
It's
time is
true. It's
K-drama.
true. I finished the 16 episodes of Crash Landing onto You in 5 days, even though I was working. So in
Wow.
between breaks, I'll be
Wow.
like watching. It is really addictive. So yeah, no, I don't
Right.
want to start.
It,
Yeah,
it's so bad for our health.
yeah,
Anyway,
it is.
someone said as well, yeah, same here. I love Goblin too. Okay,
Oh,
we've got another
nice.
Goblin fan. Okay, guys, stop like, tempting me to go watch Goblin. Anyways,
Yes.
so yeah, when I approached you to do this with me, I actually gave you a bunch of topics for us to talk about.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I was, surprised that you picked this topic, which is about postpartum blues and the stigma of taking meds, because, I haven't really caught up with you on a personal level. I mean, I
Yeah.
see you on Instagram and on your social media, and you've always been a very strong person who is ever so positive and bubbly.
Yeah.
So it did catch me by surprise, I have to be completely honest, when you told me that you wanted to focus on this topic.
Yeah. I
So
have
that's
been, I think since the birth of my son, about
mm-hmm.
3.5 years ago, um, I have been pretty open about what I've been going through, and
Yeah.
I've written a blog post about it, actually, about my.
Okay.
I won't say it is depression, but it started out as insomnia and anxiety, as panic attacks.
Mm-hmm.
So it's sort of been diagnosed as postpartum anxiety slash insomnia.
Right.
So the anxiety and the panic attacks causes me the insomnia.
Mm-hmm.
So I cannot fall
Okay.
asleep. It's like every time, this is at my worst when I first gave birth to Dylan.
Mm-hmm.
When I got home from the hospital, I didn't
Yeah.
sleep or rest for 2 straight days, 2 straight days and 2 straight nights. I couldn't sleep
You
and
just
couldn't,
couldn't fall asleep.
I couldn't
Yeah.
fall asleep. Every time I tried to lie down or rest,
Uh-huh.
I will feel like, you know how sometimes when you get shocked and then the adrenaline rushes
Mm-hmm.
across your body, like over your body, and you feel a warmth like coming from your gut all the way to your head. It's my fight or
Mm-hmm.
flight mode that's been activated
Right.
at that time. And it's all to
Right.
do with, of course, the hormonal changes in your body and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I think at that point, right, because this is my second child, I didn't think that I would have it so bad. I mean, my first time around,
Yeah.
I had similar symptoms with Danny,
Uh-huh.
but I could still get in a nap in the daytime,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Okay. So
So,
you
I
get
mean,
you
yeah,
got somewhat of a rest here and
yeah, I
there.
got somewhat of
Yeah.
a rest, but with this
Mm-hmm.
time around, I thought, okay, everything's gonna be hunky dory. I'm an experienced mom. I've got my
Yeah.
confirmed lady ready and all that. Because the first time
Yeah.
around, I was so adamant on taking care of the baby on my own. I let her sleep
Uh-huh.
right next to me, like in the cot right next to me. So that's why I couldn't sleep, because like every breath that she took, I was like, is
Eh,
she okay?
right.
You know.
And also
But
you're
with
so
Dylan,
worried
I was
like when
like, yeah.
yeah.
And with
And you're
Dylan,
so
I was
worried
like,
like when the baby is
let
next to you.
yeah. With
Yeah.
Dylan, I
So
was like,
sorry, I'm like
let him.
cutting you off and
No worries, no worries. And with Dylan, I was like, let him sleep with the confinement lady. No worries. Like I can get
mm-hmm.
my quality sleep at night and all that. And
Yeah.
all these things just came. I don't know what happened. You know, I had no
Mm-hmm.
control over it. Every
Yeah.
time I felt like I was about to drift off to sleep, I'd
Uh-huh.
suddenly get a panic attack. Like like
Like
I
how
told you.
bad was it? Like you have like heart palpitations
Yes,
or
I had heart
yeah.
palpitations, and then suddenly I feel this warmth at the back of uh, on my back, like traveling
Right.
down my spine, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I just have to I just suddenly get jolted awake.
Right.
So,
I have to say I feel you on like uh like all levels, because even for me with my first child, I mean the idea of being a new mom is very overwhelming as
yeah,
well. And I
yeah,
and I don't know if you can relate to this. Maybe you can, because we share similar personalities
yes.
and traits,
Mm-hmm.
that you just feel like you want to be in control of everything. So with
Yeah,
my first child as well, I would have him sleep with me, and I'd be like monitoring every movement, like to make sure that, oh, is he still breathing and
yeah,
stuff, or if he sleeps in a little bit longer, and I'll be like, oh, okay, is he all right? And I was I have to say that I was overwhelmed, and during my confinement period as well,
Like all
and with
new
the horm
moms, like I
yeah,
think
like
like
all new
all new
moms,
moms
yeah,
get overwhelmed. It's just that
yeah,
I think for us, like our personality type, maybe,
yeah,
um, I I I do admit now that I want to be in control of everything, and I want everything
mm-hmm.
to go as planned. But with a
Yes,
human, with a baby, they're not
no
robots.
such
Nothing
thing,
will go
yeah,
as planned. So I've
correct,
learned to sort of let go a lot more now. Yeah.
right. And yeah, and so with my second child now, with Mila, I, like you, I thought like, oh, second time around, I got it covered. I know
Yeah.
what to expect and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
But to be completely honest, I feel like the blues are sort of hitting me more now compared to the first time around. The first time around, I probably because I worked when Miles was about 2 months old, so I didn't really have time to sort of think
Mm-hmm.
about this whole like motherhood and how it's changing me or whatsoever. But this time around, it could be the hormones, it could be so many reasons, but I find myself just, sometimes just falling into a very dark place. Like I'm so negative when it happens, and it's such a shock to me as well because I've never experienced this before, and I'm wondering like why are these thoughts coming to me? And I feel like my entire body is just like numb, and no matter what positive thing that people tell me, I cannot digest that. And like I'm so hypersensitive.
How
Like
how old is Mila now?
Mila is now 5 months.
Okay.
So yeah, so I don't know what like constitutes as like postpartum blues. So perhaps maybe you could shed some light, or maybe for those of you who are watching right now who have been through it, could probably just let me know like what are the signs.
Well, a lot of times, I think most new moms will go through postpartum blues, periods
Mm-hmm.
of feeling overwhelmed, like not knowing what they're doing. Am I doing this right?
Yeah.
Or just like feeling like I'm not fit to be a mom, or just
Mm-hmm.
crying out of the blue. Like even when your child is crying, you're crying as well.
Yeah.
That can be. I think that you can group that under blues. And I think a
Mm-hmm.
lot of, I would say 90% of new moms go through that.
Yeah.
Because it's a big adjustment, not only to your life, your lifestyle. It's a big adjustment. There's a big adjustment going on in your body as well.
Mm-hmm.
Neurochemically, your hormones, you know.
Yeah.
Um, so most new moms that I know will go through something like that,
Yeah.
postpartum blues.
R-
But if
right.
you were to go deeper to that, like if you have perhaps even suicide tendencies, or you just feel
Mm-hmm.
so low that you cannot bring yourself to even carry your child, or try to do anything at all, or sleeping too much, or if you're not sleeping at all,
Sleeping at all.
then
Yeah.
we've gone to a different realm already. See,
Yeah.
that would probably constitute like depression, postpartum
Mm-hmm.
depression. And
Mm-hmm.
what I went through, I don't think it's depression. Like I don't feel that
Sad.
down. Yeah, it was just
Uh-huh.
more of my insomnia, and if I didn't get that fixed, I would have fallen
Yeah.
into depression, because after 2 days of not sleeping or resting, um,
Mm-hmm.
I felt like a zombie. I was like a walking zombie. I couldn't eat. I couldn't bear to look at my child.
Uh-huh.
And that was when my husband said, let's go just see your gynae, see what she
Yeah.
has, what she can help you with. And
Mm-hmm.
she, looking at my situation, she
Yeah.
recommended me to go see a psychiatrist. And I actually got
Mm-hmm.
meds to help me
Right.
with my sleep, in
Okay.
the
So
hopes.
before we get into that, perhaps we will read some comments right now. I had postpartum with my first and second, but third time around, too busy to even sit down for 5 minutes, just tired. Yeah, I don't know how you do it with three kids,
Yeah.
Jolina. I know I'm like, and
Hats
because
off to
and we,
everyone with more than two.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know. I
Because I
always tell
think
people I only have two arms, like how am I gonna hold the third kid?
they say three is the most challenging number because you're then outnumbered. Your husband and yourself, you're outnumbered. Yes. But
Exactly. So
if you can
yeah,
survive three, you can survive more.
ah, Jolina, do you hear that? You might
Yeah.
be able to survive more. Anyways, yeah, so because I didn't think I had it, first time around, so
Mhm.
now, with my second child, my confinement period was surprisingly more smooth sailing, like I didn't think about, I was kind of, at ease because I was
Mm.
at the center and, I had a lot of help and I wasn't so like, oh, I have to do everything because, I need to learn how to be a mom. And, and I have this thing where even sometimes with help, I would think that, oh, is that person trying to take over my role as a
Yeah.
mom, and I want to be able to soothe my child. I want to be able to do it all. But with my second, I
Exactly
thought,
like how I
okay,
felt with my first one.
yeah. So
Yeah.
like every new mom, like you
Yeah.
said, right? That overwhelming feeling. But with my second child, I thought, I'll just take it easy. I'll let people help me and stuff. So I wasn't too worried about, feeling down or whatsoever. But I mean, Mila is now 5 months. So initially I didn't have the blues or whatsoever, but now I feel like it's worse than the initial
Has
period.
it just started? Like this
I feel
past
like
couple
it's
of
like an like
weeks?
episodic thing.
Okay.
Um,
It could
and
be also because of all these, the anxiety that a lot of people are going through, being stuck at home during
uh-huh,
MCO and not being able to live a life that you are already accustomed to, like going through
yeah.
your routine, maybe,
Hmm.
and not everyone's cut out to be a stay-at-home mom. So maybe you're
Yeah.
feeling that added stress of being a stay-at-home mom at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
But frankly, I don't think it's yeah, what you say could, yeah, is probably one of the factors because of this whole MCO period. But I
yeah.
have been feeling this even before this MCO period as well. Perhaps because I'm not working as much as I used to with my first child. Um, and I don't know, it's just I can get down and I would need like someone or my husband to take over the kids because I just feel like I cannot be present, cannot be joyful. And that's another part that I want to touch on as well. Like, I am afraid to show weakness in front of my child.
Yeah.
I don't want to cry in front. I mean, with the baby wouldn't really know anything, but like a toddler, or maybe because like for you, Danny is older as well.
They do
What do you
actually,
think about that?
when I had my anxiety attacks, and if I was carrying Dylan at the time, he would start crying as well. So he can feel
Right.
it. Like even
Mm-hmm.
babies can feel your anxiety, your worries, and your sadness. So at the same time, I'm trying so hard to not project all this on them,
Yeah.
but I have no other way of controlling it. Like there's no way that I can make it stop.
Yeah. So for
And
moms who are like trying to hold it all in, trying to put up a strong front
mm,
in front of their kids and the people around them, would you suggest that they be more open and, to allow the people around and even including their kids to know that, that you're not feeling like your
definitely,
best?
the
Yeah.
last that time when I couldn't sleep, Danny knew about it. I told her straight up that I'm having
Uh-huh.
some problem sleeping. That's
Yeah.
why sometimes you don't see me up until noon, that kind of thing. So
Mm-hmm.
she understood in a way that I had trouble sleeping, and she told everyone around me and
Yeah.
her that, mommy has trouble sleeping.
Uh-huh.
So you can explain to them, but in a way that they can understand. Not nothing too complicated. Don't tell them that you have, hormone changes, your brain chemicals all out of whack and all that. But
Yeah.
to their understanding. And for little toddlers, I guess especially because you have an older child now, you
Mm-hmm.
feel like you have to function for that older child as well.
Yeah.
So um it's complicated. Get support specifically from your partner, I think.
Uh-huh.
First things first, your husband has to believe or validate your feelings.
Right. And that's what
Because if
happened
your
with
husband,
you, right?
yeah,
Like, because like your husband was the one who pointed it out,
yeah,
that maybe this anxiety issues and stuff, we should go see someone. Let's go see
yes,
your gynae about
yes,
it.
yeah.
And which
At
brings
first,
me
I
to
was,
that, yeah,
go
brings
ahead.
me to that question, how can dads and husbands support wives with PPD? Yeah.
Oh, definitely. The first point of contact would be your husband. Like if you
Mm-hmm.
were if you're struggling through anything right now,
Yeah.
go talk to your husband. And if by any chance your husband does not validate your feelings, as in like, ah, yeah, don't worry, like it will go away after a while, or like, ah, you're just
Yeah.
thinking too
Too
much, or
much. Uh-huh.
everything's going well, everything's being covered, and she
Mm-hmm.
like, my worst fear at the time was like, if my husband didn't believe that I couldn't sleep, because I will try to lie down and whatnot,
Yeah.
and he'll be snoring away there. And I just like, even though I feel like I am resting, but my mind is still awake.
Right.
You get what I mean? Like,
Uh-huh.
I don't feel rested at all, like even after a whole night lying in bed. So
Yeah.
at that point, I thought if my husband didn't believe that I couldn't sleep, that would be
Mm-hmm.
the worst thing ever, right? So, but
Right.
but fortunately, he believed me. He
Mm-hmm.
he felt my anxiety as well. Every time I had panic attack, my hands would shake and I would feel warm all over.
Yeah.
And he saw that, and like I said earlier, he was the one who
Mm-hmm.
suggested that I go see somebody.
Yeah. So he recognized
And
it.
yes,
Did
he
you know?
recognized it.
Did you know that you had problems and you needed to
I
see
had
someone?
I had something similar when I had Danny, and I overcame it without resorting to seeing a psychologist and psychiatrist. But it's, I don't know. What was I saying just now? I looked at the question, and
No
then now
worries.
I
I know it
forgot
can get
what
a
I was
little bit
saying.
distracting, but you were saying that how, you had it the first time around, but you got
Yeah, so
over it
I
without
thought
having to
I
seek
could.
professional
Yeah.
help. Yeah.
So I thought I could overcome it this time around. I had so
Mm-hmm.
much help at hand. My mom
Yeah.
was with me. I had my maid. I had the confinement lady, albeit not the same confinement lady I had for Danny. So I
Mm-hmm.
didn't have that trust in her yet.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
she,
So,
in the end, she didn't really do such a good job as well. So I guess it
right.
was a culmination of all these things that made me feel like, okay, this
Mm-hmm.
time it's really different. I don't think I can handle this on my
On
own.
your own.
Yeah.
Okay. So I
And
guess to answer Keanu's question, dads and husbands would just have to believe your partner that
yeah,
they're
and
going through
support them.
something
Yeah.
and support them.
And if they're
Um,
telling you something
yeah.
that you think it's hogwash, or like, it can't be true, like,
Uh-huh.
just believe them, just support
Yes.
them,
Yeah.
just show them your support. Um and be and be there for the child as well. Like in my first couple of months, my husband was dad to three of us, including me,
Yeah.
the newborn, my daughter, and myself. So I couldn't make
Right.
any decisions for myself. I was so out
Mm-hmm.
of it. Like, I was so obsessed with getting my sleep.
Right.
At,
Because,
yeah, because I couldn't sleep, and I felt,
yeah.
and when I went to see the psychiatrist, I told her this, all these things, and she's like, you are starting to equate your sleep to being a good mom, which is just
Right.
totally rubbish. All moms
Oh,
don't get enough sleep. At
yeah.
that point, I was trying to get enough sleep so that I can function, um, and be a good mom. That was
Mm-hmm.
my logic at the time. If I don't get enough sleep, I cannot be a good mom.
Right. So for
So
those of so yeah, to answer Zer's question, did you end up seeing a psychologist or psychiatrist? So
I did,
Val,
yeah.
you did. And I think for a lot of moms who, you know, are still like a bit like, should I see somebody? Should I not see somebody? What would you say to moms out there? I mean,
Okay,
myself
if you are,
included.
yeah, to be honest, if you've tried talking to your husband and you tried speaking to your other mommy friends and you're still feeling this way,
Yeah.
I would recommend you go see a psychologist first instead of a psychiatrist.
Mm-hmm.
um, the difference being that psychologists, they do not dispense medication.
Yeah.
That is if you think you can make do without medication.
Mm-hmm.
uh, Psychologists will help you through via counseling, or they'll do
Mm-hmm.
like cognitive behavioral therapy on you that
Yeah.
doesn't require medication. But if
Mm-hmm.
but even after seeing a psychologist and you're still
Yeah.
not better, and then they will recommend you to go see a psychiatrist, and
Psychiatrist.
perhaps, yeah, psychiatrist, and perhaps work alongside the therapy, the behavioral
Mm-hmm.
therapy, to take medication as well. It depends how severe your symptoms are.
Right.
Mm.
So, I mean, what for you, was it an ongoing thing? I mean, the panic attacks and anxiety, because for me, I feel like it's not on a daily basis and it's not
Mhm.
24/7.
Yeah.
It's just certain period of time, or like if there were like triggers in the day that would get me really down.
Mm.
And I am very thankful that I have a very supportive husband as well who would know how to, who believes in me, and who would know how to manage me and pick me up again when I'm
Mm.
at my lowest point of the day. And yeah, so I just hit like a refresh button the
Mm.
next day. And
Yeah.
then when I look at my kids, I still feel joy. You know, they bring me a lot of joy. Um, so,
Mm.
and my question
Well,
is just to yeah, connect to Zer's
my
question. Was it
anxiety
an
only
ongoing?
came on. Yeah, my anxiety only came on when I was trying to rest at that point in time. The first 2 weeks after
Mhm.
giving birth, the panic attacks and my anxiety came on only after when I was trying to go to bed to rest. I don't know where it comes from. It could be from my extra vigilance of being because I was not feeling well straight after I gave birth to Dylan. I didn't have, like, I lost my voice. I had a bit of a cold, and then when I came home with Dylan, everyone at home was not feeling well as well. Danny had fever. My
Mhm.
husband was down with a cold, and even my confinement lady was coming down with a cold. So at that point, I was like, everyone is not capable of taking care of my baby
Right.
except for me, you know?
Uh-huh.
I think that might have started that vigilance. Like, I feel like I cannot leave him alone with the confinement lady because she's not feeling so well either, you know? And every time I
Yeah.
laid down to rest, I would jolt, like the adrenaline would rush, and then I would be jolted awake. And I'm like, since I can't sleep anyways, I'll just breastfeed lah, you know.
Uh-huh.
Throughout the night, I will just go into the room, bring baby up, breastfeed, put him back, you know. And I was
Right.
like not eating well because I couldn't sleep.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, like, if I'm sure you've experienced this before. If you haven't slept well, you cannot really
Mm-hmm.
eat. Like, and since you just gave birth as well, and my son had prolonged jaundice for 2 weeks, and
Yeah.
I couldn't take any ginger or
Ginger,
herb
yeah.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I had so much gas or wind build up in my stomach that I felt nauseous every time I tried to eat.
Right. So you would say
So
like
it was horrible.
the anxiety came from the fact
Yeah.
that you felt like no one could care for your baby but
Yeah.
you, and you had to be present for your baby, and
The
yet
whole
you're
time.
not
Yeah.
sleeping.
Yeah.
So how can you be present and function properly when you're not sleeping?
Mm.
Um,
And then
and
after that, after the fact, when I didn't have anxiety anymore, the
yeah,
fear came from when that one night I cannot sleep, and then suddenly it sort of the ball started rolling again. It became
uh-huh.
a fear of insomnia, a fear of not being able to sleep. I'm not sure if you understand what I mean, but like
Mm-hmm.
after the whole um, anxiety, postpartum anxiety was over. I took meds for it, and I felt much calmer. Even like I think it was about 2 or 3 months after. I
Uh-huh.
was still taking meds at the time.
Yeah.
Although the panic attacks were very few and far between,
Mm-hmm.
um, it has become a fear of not being able to sleep.
Right.
I think people with insomnia would understand this, because
Mm-hmm.
it's sort of like a double-edged sword. Like you can't go to
Yeah.
sleep, so you feel anxious, and you're forcing yourself to go to sleep, you know. But the
Mm-hmm.
more you force yourself to go to sleep, you cannot sleep.
Yeah. I feel you. I've had
So
that before. It's
yeah,
at that time it
it's
was work
become a
related.
cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The stress and
Mm-mm.
everything. Um, Also, I wanted to ask you, like, I guess for you, because your husband pointed it out that let's go see someone.
Mm.
But for moms out there who may be feeling, these blues, when would you say would be, the time when, you would tell them, like, perhaps go seek help?
Mm. When it
Yeah.
affects your daily life,
Uh-huh.
when you feel like, oh, this is affecting my life and I cannot
Mm-hmm.
function because of
Yeah.
this, it is time
Yeah.
to go seek help.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
you also mentioned that, okay, first go see a psychologist and they would go through counseling with you and therapies that do not involve medication. And if that still does not sort of, get you out of that condition, then go see a psychiatrist who would then
Yeah.
sort of supplement you with medication together with a therapy. But
Correct.
we all know that there's always that stigma when it comes to taking meds.
Mm.
And it's even some of my friends who do take meds, they don't tell people because they're so afraid that people might judge them for,
Yeah.
taking medication.
Hmm.
And you did. And are you still on meds right now?
Okay. Let me take you back to the first time I had to go see the psychiatrist. I was
Yeah.
so embarrassed sitting outside
Uh-huh.
of the psychiatrist's office, because I mean, I guess it's that stigma that we all have in our mind. We're seeing a shrink, we're seeing a psychologist or psychiatrist. Are we
Yeah.
crazy? Am I
Mm-hmm.
crazy? I'm not
Yeah.
crazy. I just can't sleep.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. Um, and I felt so embarrassed. I was looking around and like hoping that nobody I know comes
Yeah.
by, or like sees me
You'll bump
there.
into someone, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
And now I feel two ways about the medication. First of all, I do appreciate it because I think it is what kept me alive at that really low point in my life, when I
Yeah.
really thought that I was gonna just at one point I felt like I was gonna get a heart attack and just die
Right.
because of my lack of sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it kept me alive. It kept me going.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other flip side, I'm thinking, because I have relapsed so many times now. It's been 3 years, okay, since I gave birth to my son,
Yeah.
and I think it is also partially my fault, because like when I felt better, I stopped taking the medication
Okay. Mm-hmm.
and I stopped going to see the psychiatrist, because I thought I was better, and
Yeah.
it's expensive to go see a psychiatrist. Um,
Mm-hmm.
they charge per hour, uh,
Right.
and and so I stopped taking the medication and I stopped seeing the psychiatrist. And a few months later, something will happen in my life,
Yeah.
like a change in schedule, or some kind of emotional trauma or something. Like if I have
Mm-hmm.
an argument with my husband, and then suddenly it all comes
Comes back.
flooding back. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I feel that it is because my body is sort of accustomed to the extra serotonin that I get from the medication, that I cannot overcome it on my own. So that's why
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this is like sort of like a double-edged sword. Yes,
Yeah.
medication saved me, but at the same time, I'm not sure whether or not medication is the one that's causing me all these relapses that I still have to take it until today.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay. I mean, Wow,
Yeah.
that's pretty heavy. I mean, I don't even know how to look at it. I mean, how do you feel now? Because I mean, throughout the
You
whole
know,
3 years,
to be
you took
honest,
meds and then you stopped, and then that's when you feel like, oh, you relapse, and then you should go back to the meds, and then So what's your stand on it now? Like, do you feel like, is this gonna be it's a long-term thing and you're okay with it, or?
okay, I'll be honest with you. This is my third relapse, like third time
Mhm.
going back onto the meds.
Yeah,
And even my psychiatrist is a bit upset with me. She's saying that please stick to the course this time around
right. Hmm.
and then we will wean it off together, not on your own and not cold turkey. So
Okay.
this is what I have planned right now. I am just going to
Uh-huh.
follow instructions and just take that take the medication whether I feel good or whether I don't feel good, and
Yeah,
see how it goes.
yeah.
Because I've seen how bad it can get. Like the first time around when I stopped, I thought I was completely fine.
Uh-huh.
And I can't really remember the trigger, but I remember the second trigger was I went on a holiday, a girls' trip,
Okay.
with my girlfriends, and it's supposed
Mm-hmm.
to be like a relaxing,
Fun.
fun, kid-free kind of
Yeah,
holiday where
yeah.
we can party and have fun and all that. And for those 4 nights, I couldn't sleep at all, and
Oh.
all these
Wh-
anxieties started coming back. It's like, oh my gosh, I didn't bring my medication. How am I gonna survive this? I even went
right.
as far as checking with the hotel if they had, psychiatrist that I can see that can sort of write out the meds for me,
Uh-huh.
prescribe the meds for me. And it was that far. Like my anxiety brought me to where I was,
Mm-hmm.
when after I first gave birth. And yeah, that was
Right.
scary. And that's
Right.
when I came back, I decided to go see my psychiatrist again.
Uh-huh.
And she she advised me to go back on the meds, which
Reluctant?
I was really
Were you?
reluctant. I mean, even in the beginning, I was
Yeah.
very reluctant to take medication because I was breastfeeding, and because my
Okay.
because my son was jaundiced, and I didn't know, like, if me taking the meds, um, and going into the milk, it will affect my son as well.
Mm-hmm.
And in those early stages, I think being on social media and being on the internet sort of added to the anxiety as well, because I'll be googling this, googling that. How will this affect my baby? How will
Right.
taking this med affect my baby in the long run? I even went as far as calling my gynae up and asking her if she had any moms who went through the same thing as I did and
Yeah.
are taking meds and whatnot, whether or
Uh-huh.
not they'll be willing to talk to me, because I want to know
Yeah.
if there are
Yeah.
any effects on my children, on my son.
Uh-huh.
And she said, just stop all this
Worry.
Googling. Yeah,
Yeah.
just stop all of this Googling
Mm-hmm.
and take your medication like your psychiatrist told you to. She knows you're breastfeeding, so she won't give you any medication that has adverse
Yeah.
effects on the child. And
Mm-hmm.
to be totally honest, only like 1% of what you eat goes into the breast milk.
Breast milk. So I
Yeah.
guess alcohol is okay.
Yes, it is.
Because
Yeah.
sometimes we just need it.
Yes.
It's a
And
need.
there was this one point in time where I was so adamant on finding a solution to my sleep problem that I tried
Yeah.
everything, and I spent so much money, Megan. You won't believe it. I spent so much money trying to
Uh-huh.
solve
Your
this
sleep problem.
problem that I have.
Right.
And it sort of took a shift in perspective to not see it as a problem before I
Yeah.
realized that it's something that
Mm-hmm.
I cannot solve
Right.
on my own. Yeah.
So having gone through the 3 years of, three relapses, has your perception now changed though? I mean, like how initially you were so reluctant to be dependent on the meds, and that's why when you felt better, you thought, okay, I don't need it anymore. You
Mm.
know, so now having gone through all of that, has your perception when it comes to, taking meds changed?
Definitely.
Uh-huh.
But like I said earlier, I'm still two minds about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I will definitely recommend moms who are suffering from depression and anxiety and whatnot to
Yeah.
go see a psychiatrist. And if you're required to take meds, please do just take your meds. Don't
Yeah,
worry
just
about
listen to
anything
your
else.
doctor.
Yeah, don't
Yeah,
worry
we
about
I think we
anything.
kind of have to look at it like, as in
It's
like when
like
you're
an
sick,
antibiotic. You know,
Yeah,
if
correct. I was just gonna
if
say you
you're
have to finish
prescribed
your
if
course.
yeah, if you're prescribed a 7-day antibiotic and you feel better after the third day, it
Yeah,
doesn't mean that you don't need to finish your the 4 days, right? So
correct.
just finish your course.
Yeah.
Listen to your psychiatrist. They have your best interest at heart. In the beginning
Uh-huh.
stages, I was like, I don't know whether she wants to just make money off me and whatnot. I'm
Because
fine,
it's so
I'm like,
expensive, right?
yeah. But after all those relapses, I realized that this is no laughing matter. This is no joke, you know. Once you get on the meds, you have to properly get off of it as well, and not just
Yeah.
according to your whim and fancy, you know. You feel better, you get off of it. No, yeah,
Yeah.
you
So
gotta
moms, don't self-diagnose.
no. And
Yeah.
don't
Mm-hmm.
yeah, if your anxiety levels are already very high, don't
Yeah.
Google.
Right?
Google
Yeah,
is
because
not
the
a
internet,
doctor.
I know internet is such a blessing and a curse at the same
Yes,
time. Like
it
the
is.
amount of stuff that you can find and information on that thing. I used to be that too. I would Google a whole bunch of stuff and bring it to my doctor. And
Yeah.
like yours, my doctor would tell me as well, like, stop
Stop
Googling.
Googling.
Though
Yeah.
the stuff, the like journals or whatever online, those are for us doctors to know the data and stuff. So
Mm.
you
Mm.
guys don't need to, look into that too much, and
Yeah.
just let us do our job to tell you, put your trust in us kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. In the
Yeah.
beginning stages,
So,
also, I was reluctant because I was still breastfeeding.
mm-hmm.
And at one point in time, I actually discussed this with my gynae and my
Yeah.
psychiatrist and the pediatrician.
Right.
Uh, and all of them said that, you know, if you're struggling with this, you won't be able to produce enough milk as anyways, you know, because at that point I felt like my son was crying all the time.
Yeah.
I thought he was colicky, you know,
Uh-huh.
and and when I try to pump my milk, I only get like really liquidy kind of milk and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess when you're stressed out, you can't produce milk. So
Yeah,
at the end, I
definitely.
decided to stop breastfeeding at 3 months when Dylan was
Uh-huh.
3 months, and that
Uh-huh.
was when I sort of concentrated on getting myself better.
Yeah. Yeah, because
Mm.
we mentioned this during one of the sessions as well, that this is why as moms as well, we shouldn't be judging each other about like how we want to feed our kids,
Yeah.
whether it's breastfeeding or or formula milk, because we
Mm-hmm.
all have our own struggles. We are
Yeah.
all battling our own
Yeah.
demons as well. So let's just be kind to not only ourselves but to each other as well. And for those
Definitely.
who have just tuned in as well, I like what you said about having to look at it from a different perspective, to it's like when you're ill, just take your medication, listen to your doctor, and then together you will wean it off eventually, if
And
that's
that's what going to a psychologist or a psychiatrist does to you as well.
mm-hmm.
They can see your problem from a different perspective.
Right.
um I guess I'll give you an example. You're in a dark room and then you see
Mm-hmm.
something which looks like a snake coming at you, you know?
Right.
And in your mind it's like, I have to escape. That's a snake, you know? It's gonna bite me, I'm going to die, you know? Um,
Mm-hmm.
but you need someone there to switch on the light and say, oh, it's just a piece of string, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Yeah.
So when you're at that dark place, you can't get out of your fixed mindset, I guess.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you just
I
need to
feel you.
speak to someone who can
Mm-hmm.
get you out of that dark space and see
Yeah.
your problem from a different perspective.
Thank you for that, because
Yeah.
that is exactly what I feel like I'm going through right now. I have my very dark moments where I feel so low and that I couldn't see anything in a positive light. But I'm thankful that I have my husband to sort of get me out of that. And for those of you watching
Mm.
right now, I mean, really just talk to your partner about it, or someone that you trust, and that you can
Yeah,
be
you
open
trust.
in, yeah, that you can be open enough with, and that you're comfortable with. And if you're able to get out of that, then great. If you're not, and it's
Great.
affecting your everyday life, then that's when I think it's like a sign that you should go seek professional help. And we have a
Correct.
question here as well. Do you know if government hospital provides such help for those who can't afford it? Because, like what you mentioned as well, Belle, that this can be very
Very
expensive.
expensive. Correct.
Yeah.
I am pretty sure they do. There
Mm-hmm.
are also free counseling services as well.
Yeah.
I've spoken to a couple of psychologists even on my radio show. There
Mm-hmm.
are lots of options out there. I think most
Yeah.
government hospitals will have their psychiatric or psychology wing, or
Yeah.
mind matters kind of wing,
Mm-hmm.
and definitely. But for most parts, because I have actually, for my radio show, we went to Hospital Bahagia not too long ago.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
to a lot of people, that is still known as Tanjong Rambutan. That's where
Mm-hmm.
they keep the mentally ill.
Mm-hmm.
And for the most part, I think if you want to go to a government psychologist or a
Yeah.
psychiatrist, you have to go to a clinic kesihatan first.
Okay.
And if the GP there cannot help you, they will refer you to a psychologist or a psychiatrist
Right,
at the
there you go.
hospital. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's my sister Yules, said her husband is a doctor in a government hospital, and he said, yes, that's right. Most government hospitals do have the psychiatry department or a psychology department that
Yeah.
would be able to help you out.
Yeah.
And also, I want to know, I mean, like, aside from, seeking professional help and taking meds, like, are you doing anything else that would, help you with whatever it is that you went through?
Yeah. The last time I went to see my psychiatrist, this is what she actually advised me to do. Now that we're gonna go back on meds and then taper it off, I have to
Mm-hmm.
figure out my own coping mechanism for when it does
Okay.
happen again next time. So it can be every person will have a different kind of coping mechanism. So I've
Mm-hmm.
tried meditation. I can't get it yet because
Okay.
my mind is
All
just
over the
always,
place.
yeah, my mind is always like a hamster wheel, always turning, and I
Uh-huh.
try to slow it down. I think I
Yeah.
have successfully slowed my mind down every time
Yeah.
I rest, but it's still not completely there yet. Meditation, it may seem easy, but it's not. It's not for everybody as well. Yeah. To be honest, Meg, in my early stages, I've tried almost everything. I went for acupuncture. People say I can't go to sleep maybe because my spine is not straight. I went for a chiropractor. I went
Oh,
for
wow.
sound
Okay.
healing, crystal healing, spiritual guru
All sorts of
reading,
healing.
all sorts of stuff. Yeah. Hypnotherapy. And uh, ultimately, I think for me personally, because at this moment, I'm
Yeah.
not struggling with any panic attacks or anxiety attacks. It's mostly just not being
Uh-huh.
able to go to sleep. And I think it's, like I said, it's become a fear in me. Every time one night I cannot go to sleep, and then my mind would go to all sorts of dark places that I would think, oh, this
Mm.
is happening again, and I'm gonna, relapse again and all that. So for
Yeah.
me, it's more of just trying to think positively.
Mm-hmm.
It's changing your mindset or changing your perspective may sound easy, but it's
Yeah.
not. Especially when you
Yeah.
have like a stubborn mind. Yeah,
Definitely. I
and
feel you.
it's already sort of embedded in subconsciously, that fear. You know how sometimes
Yeah.
people fear. I don't know. What's a ridiculous thing that people fear? Fear the rain or something. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
You have to figure out a way to overcome this fear in your own time, in
Right.
your own way. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So just, I mean, whatever that brings you joy, I believe, like whatever it may
Yeah.
be, you know.
Try to think
For some people,
positively, and like,
yeah.
regardless, when I think back, I'm like, I didn't spend the first 3 months bonding with my babies, my first or my
Hmm.
second, but look at them
Yeah.
now. They're so big already. They're healthy.
Yeah.
They're happy.
Yeah.
You know,
I know. I
all
always
that's a
say this,
thing of the
that you're,
past. Yeah.
yeah, you're one of the moms that I really look up to when I watch your stories and I look at your kids, and I even bump into you, and they are so well mannered. Your daughter is amazing, so talented.
Yeah, but people only share their best bits on social media. You know, like,
Definitely.
behind all that, I was suffering all of this,
Mm-hmm.
what I've just shared with all of you. I don't
Yeah.
share any of those things. I mean, recently I have started sharing it. I've written a
Yeah.
blog post about it, and people from
Mm-hmm.
women from all over the world has reached out to me and saying that they are experiencing the same things that I am,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
because nobody's talking about it, everyone's just keeping
Uh-huh.
quiet. Everyone's just sharing all the best bits of their life, that you
Yeah,
feel like
it's all perfectly curated,
that you
right, on
are
social
the
media.
odd one out, and you are the only person feeling this way, and you are the worst
Yeah,
mom in the whole world. That's what you
that's true.
feel. But if you
Yeah.
share with another mom, you will figure out, you'll find out that so many mothers out there are feeling the same way you are.
Exactly. Like
And
you're
you
not
are not
alone.
alone in this. Yeah, you are not alone
Definitely.
in this, and you are good enough as a mom.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for saying that. And thank you so much for coming here on this show with me. And this is the whole purpose of it, because,
Yeah.
I wanted to just reach out and connect with moms who may be going through a similar situation as well, to let you
Mhm.
guys know that, you're not alone. And thanks, Belle, for being so open about it, and
Definitely.
for sharing with us. And you're so right about the whole social media being, everything is all nice and perfect in our
Yeah.
little world,
And
because
we're all guilty of showcasing our best bits to the world. We don't want to
yeah,
share
and
our dirty laundry with the world, but
of course,
sometimes you
because
have
like,
to. You have to be real.
yeah,
And I like when you
definitely.
share it and you're like, you're not in your makeup, you're with your mom bun, and you
These
said,
days I'm just,
make get real or something like that, right? That's your hashtag, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That
Because
is
I mean,
that is the truth.
I just don't have time for makeup anymore. So, so that's why this is all you guys are gonna get for now. My PJs and my bare face. Yeah, and I think I've shared something as
But
well,
that's you
about
being
like,
real. Yeah.
yeah, and about like how, because we only share our best bits, because to be fair, when we are going through a tough time, it's not like we want to pick up the phone and just show the
Yeah.
world, that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
But, occasionally we do want to reach out to you guys to tell you that it's perfectly normal to feel the way you feel, and that you're not alone in this, and that, we just want to support each other, and just, shed some light, even if you guys have suggestions about, how, what coping mechanism that you guys are using to
For
sort of go
me,
through.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly, this time. Do share it with us. We'd also love to hear it from you as well. And, just before I wrap up the session, because our topic is about the stigma of taking meds when it comes
Mhm.
to postpartum blues. What would,
Mhm.
because we're very lucky that we have partners who understand and who are 100% behind us and fully supportive. So what would you say to, moms out there who may not be as lucky, like when they do reach out to people around them and stuff, and they're saying like, oh, why are you seeing a psychiatrist, or, why are you taking meds for this? It's not good for you.
Mhm. I would say
What would
just
you say to that?
surround yourself with positive people, because
Mm-hmm.
when you get one or two negative people like that, it really sucks out your energy as well, and you have to
Yeah.
deal with it emotionally, and you're not in the right mind to deal with uh, people with negative emotions at this point. So um, look for people who really support you and are really believe that you're going through this. And if no one in your family believes you, if your husband doesn't believe you, go to a psychologist. Just go straight to a doctor, even, or your trusted gynecologist.
Mm-hmm.
um, and they will be able to guide you to the right direction. I think, yeah, it's very
Yeah.
important for you to to be in the group of people with like-minded people and positive people as well. So yeah,
I
if people are
absolutely agree.
saying, people are saying that, oh, you're just acting, or you're just pretending that this is happening to you just to get out of being a mom, you
Yeah.
know, that is just ridiculous, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've
I mean,
actually
it
heard that
happened.
before.
Yeah,
Yeah,
me
I've
too.
actually heard
Exactly.
that
I
before. Like, you know, are you just
using it as
pretending
an
so
ex,
that you don't need to take
right?
care of your kids, you know? You can dump them on other people. I'm like, hello, you know? If
Yeah.
I can take care of my kids on my own, I would do that. Definitely.
Yeah.
I'm not
I know.
making
It's
things up just to get out of being a mom, because I am a mom.
exactly. Yeah, I know it's terrible for people to even say that or think that, and that you're using it as an excuse. So
Excuse me.
yeah, and I think someone even said, yeah, I can't stand mom shaming. That's right. We don't stand for mom shaming over here.
There's
And
no such
oh,
thing as a bad mom.
yeah, no,
Mm.
we all do our
It's
best for
just
our
different.
kids.
It's just different
Yeah,
circumstances. Yeah.
that's right. And at the end of the day, I guess it's really important to really take care of yourself as well, so that
Yeah.
you can be present for your kids. So,
Definitely.
just like what you said, surround yourself with quality people. Your tribe defines your vibe, all that mantra.
And
It's
if your
true. I
husband
mean, it's
really doesn't, you know, if your husband really doesn't believe you when you tell him things like that, then I'm sorry to say you might have to look for a new husband.
this is us being real.
Yeah, this is us being real. Like, I mean, seriously. And yeah,
All
I
right.
remember an anecdote that my gynecologist shared with me.
Mm,
This is really good. You know, whenever you
yeah.
get onto the plane, they said put the oxygen mask on yourself first before helping those under your care. Because if you are not healthy, you're not fit, you're dead yourself, how can you take care of your kids? So
True that.
that's the
True that.
anecdote. Put the oxygen mask on yourself first. Don't say that it's selfish loving yourself first, even though
Mm-hmm.
you're a mom. Uh,
Yeah.
that's the most important thing that you have to do, to love yourself first, and then
Thanks
your
for that.
family.
Yeah, thanks for that reminder, Belle, because I think a lot of us, especially, new moms or, moms for second, third time dealing with kids and babies, they become a priority and we
Yeah,
tend to forget that and we don't want to do things for ourselves because we think that it could be selfish. Like I don't
yeah.
deserve to, all this pampering, all this like self-care because I have babies to care for, my
Yeah.
kids to care for. So yeah, thank you so much for that reminder. And thank you so much once again for
You're
coming
welcome,
onto
Megan.
the
Thank you
show
so
and
much.
sharing this. And you've I've learned a lot from this
I hope
session
people
and
don't
I
see me funny after this outside. Like, oh,
of
they have to tread around glass to speak to me. Like, I'm not that fragile.
exactly. Belle is still Belle. She's still the lovely Belle that we see on Instagram. And, it's just a different side of us that we are showcasing to you guys. And we're just keeping it real right here. So thank you so much again, Belle. You have a good night. I'm going to let you go and rest now because I know
I
that today
don't
is a
think
weekday.
so. My
So,
kids.
so I just wanted to, just wrap things up and, to see if you have anything else you'd like to say to all the moms before we say
Mm,
goodnight.
wow. I don't know what else I can say that I haven't already said.
For
But
the
I
past
think
hour,
for,
right?
I guess for the moms who are struggling, who are taking meds, don't beat yourself down about it. You know, it's like an illness. If you get flu,
Yeah,
you go get flu medication, you know. So
yeah.
this is just a bump in your
Mm-hmm.
motherhood journey that you have to
Yep.
overcome before, you know, before it goes smooth again. So don't beat yourself up about it. If you have to take meds, take it.
Mm-hmm.
Make yourself better before you can become a good mom. So
Well
don't
said.
stigmatize people who are taking meds as well. Yeah.
Yep.
And you don't need
Mm-hmm.
to speak
Don't.
to me in a baby voice next time, because like I won't crash. Even if you criticize me, I'll be fine. Yeah.
Yeah, because yeah, and I'm so glad that you said that because people tend to tiptoe
Yeah.
around those
Yeah.
who, may have like,
Oh,
who's going through
she has
this
depression. We better not say anything bad to her.
that might,
Like,
yeah, might trigger
yeah,
her
that
or
might trigger
something. Yeah.
her. Yeah.
So thanks for saying that,
No
and
worries.
I am so on board with you. I totally agree with you. Let's all break that stigma and don't be ashamed to, to seek help and ask for help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's actually
So on that,
e-counseling available now as well. I
oh,
just found out from our station, our radio psychologist. So
uh-huh.
if you feel overwhelmed, especially at this point in time during the MCO as a mom,
Yeah.
I think you can just Google some, there's some e-counseling, or you can even call them for free counseling, just to talk to someone else if no one else
Yeah.
is there for you. Yeah.
Great. So yeah, do that. Thanks for sharing that information. And yeah, with that, on that note, I will say goodbye. I'm pretty sure we're not gonna be abruptly cut off this time around because it's only
Well,
4 minutes
thank you.
in.
Also, I think thank you so much, everyone, for joining this conversation. I think
Yeah.
I see a
Hmm.
lot of people still joining the conversation, and a
Yeah.
lot of good questions as well. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, this is
Yeah.
interesting.
And
Okay,
good night
bye,
to all of you guys.
everyone.
Thanks for
Yeah,
tuning in.
thank you.
Bye.
Bye.